up with here tomorrow and family gathering. Yes, family. Yes, family.
It's a family gathering.
Family gathering, absolutely. Family. Did you hear what I said? Familia, family. I know some people don't like to hear that, but I do got family out here. Hmm. Well, I came on this morning because I uploaded a video that many of you are familiar with. And this video just reeks of hate, violence, undesirability. Now, it could be him, it could be anybody else, but he was featured in this one. Now, I don't like Aloe, I don't like Popeye, and I don't like Roberto, but I've never felt anybody should be threatened. That's where you draw the line in the sand. Again, there's some incidences where you have to draw the line in the sand. Nobody likes to be threatened, period. It's not right. Yeah, you could lash out at people, call them a few names, well, within, you know, any amount of reason. I mean, not to label them as something that's probably something that you should never label anybody, because that's like the deepest, dirtiest, nastiest criminal thing that you could say about anybody just because you don't like them. Well, that's not an excuse in itself, but you know, when it comes to threats, it's never something that I ever take lightly. And I never will. I've been threatened many times by an individual on YouTube here, and I think everybody is actually familiar with it. He'll deny he's never called me names, he'll deny that he never threatened me, but, well, you know, evidence speaks different. And it will be addressed. Oh, it will be addressed. There's no doubt about it. Now, as I said, it's not like I'm sticking up for all the people that he's threatened here on YouTube, but I'm the only one that had the fucking balls to want to do something about it. Popeye's been threatened by him, but he don't do shit about it. He's too much of a coward. Aloe, well, he just likes the attention. Roberto, well, he's known for threats and he's known for all this bullshit. He's never going to do anything about that either. None of these people would. I'm the only one that's got the balls to do something about something that is really, really wrong. But threats, that's a whole another animal. Threats. I don't really take kindly to threats. Look, you could deny this and deny that till the fucking cows come home, but it doesn't mean what you think or what you're saying is true. It never happened. It becomes history, embedded in history. The marvelous invention or the ability to be able to record these shows. It's marvelous. It would have prevented a lot of people from getting away with crimes, you know, prior to being able to do this kind of social media. But I just don't feel that threatening people is cool. You're going to make a threat, follow through with it, and see where that gets you. But talk is cheap. I do not ever encourage anyone to make it a kind of a slice of your life to go on social media or otherwise and make threats to people, no matter who they are. Yeah, he's threatened other characters that I don't like. And you probably would say, yeah, you should be happy about that he made threats to these people. No, I'm not really. Because he shouldn't be threatening anybody at all. This is a man that says he's undesirable. He's not undesirable. Well, How do you define undesirable? Well, watch his videos. Go back in history. What defines an undesirable alien in this country? You know, I'm proud to say I've done a lot of great videos on here through the years. And they weren't always about trolls or any shit like that. I've actually had a wealth of information that I actually presented. And some people took to it, some people did not. And that's okay. Even if like one person adhered to something that I talked about that could possibly help them, whether it was a health topic or whatever it might be, or a lot of my philosophy that I love doing on here. Everybody has their own philosophy. So do I. I may be more expressive on it than most people, but that's okay. There's not a crime against being philosophical. Mazda 9. Good morning, Philippines. Mayan Buntang. Everybody. Hop on the happy train. So much negativity on, Popeye is planning to do, of course he is. He has a video, whatever, show, whatever, lined up. Is it today or tomorrow, whatever. And, okay, it's supposed to be having to do the difference in the relationships of me and my girlfriend and the mantis and his girlfriend. Let me make you understand something. As a rule, I do not feel that I have to show open affection on my shows. That's kind of private. I'm not going to go around every time I do a show and say, Gilda, come over here and kiss me or hug me or whatever. She does enough of that off camera. I don't need to display that part of my private life. Well, Mr. Merciful, welcome to my morning show. And of course, Mazda 9. I don't have to display our affection. I'm not trying to prove anything about my relationship except that it's good. And that's all you need to know. That's all I need to know. Let me see. What did Popeye have on his thumbnail? He kind of, a picture where it's kind of juxtaposed of this guy with his girlfriend, obviously choreographed, pressed against his cheek, looking directly at the camera. Very planned shot, first of all. Then there's a picture of me and my girlfriend where they edited it, where they caught it at one moment, and she wasn't trying to get away from me because of the expression on her face. She's very loving to me, and I'm very loving to her, but I don't need to explain that either. Displaying our affection in my videos are not part of what I do on my show. Period. Okay. Yeah, the quality Filipinas are conservative. Public displays of affection are not common. That is so true. They're not. I mean, she'll walk down with me and hold my arm, or she'll hold my hand in the street. But if I tried to go plant a big kiss on her in the street, she might be a little shy on that. It's just part of the culture. Not all Filipinas are openly affectionate in public. Behind closed doors, that's a whole different story. Let's see, we have Steve Busco's back. He claims that he just won't accept a new case against him. The arrogance of him is next level, I told the Mahal long ago 2 rules of life. Don't complain and don't explain. I don't think anybody really has to explain anything on there. That's inclusive of myself. If I've ever had to explain on many things on here, which I have, it's my own personal choice. If I felt I needed to. Most of the time, I didn't need to explain anything to anybody on here. Although I've done a hell of a lot of that. But voluntarily, nobody had a gun to my head and said, you gotta explain this. As Ricky said to Lucy, Lucy, splain. Well, I don't have to splain anything. I don't have to explain anything. Unless I choose to. But the subject on here is about violence. The subject on here is about threats. People think that they know me from my shows because I'm pretty highly out there with my thoughts, my philosophy, my feelings, to a certain degree. But there are things I don't talk about, and I will not talk about. The one thing I could tell you is that when I was raised, you would never insult somebody's family. You would never, ever, 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 ever label somebody as a sexual predator. You wouldn't do that. Of course, these are different times, but people still adhere to these values, like don't talk about my mother or father, degrade them, desecrate them. That wouldn't get you very far when I grew up and where I grew up. That wouldn't get them very far at all. Now, I told you an incident about when my father was once robbed. And what happened to that guy? And why? Because my father was very respected in the community. He was not a big business owner. He was never a man with money. In fact, he was pretty broke. Very simple man, but a good man. And oh, by the way, my father never drank. They used to display a picture of him with a wine glass on one of the thumbnails. It was a special occasion, and he was having a little touch of red wine. And believe me, that little touch of red wine would send him into a tailspin. He never even drank beer. My father and my mother were never drinkers, ever, ever. Just to let you know. But there are certain things you could get away with in life. There are certain things that you cannot get away with in life. When I continually hear this smug attitude, this really cocky, smug attitude, oh yeah, it does fire me up. Because it makes me feel that I'm not going to show the kind of justice he'd like me to show on him. Because every time he opens his mouth, something wrong comes out of it. And it pushes me back from even thinking or entertaining the thought of settling anything. I think you all understand that. Looks like somebody has spent a lifetime of threatening people's lives. Well, kind of seems that way, doesn't it? I can't really legally talk about that, and I could name many people, but on legal terms, I really can't. So kind of keep it cool. You know, when I say to you on my show that I get so burned out on this shit, believe me, I mean it. And I'm happy, but I'm going to find true happiness more so than I have today, when justice prevails. I don't want to be somebody's punching bag and then have their girlfriends try to make a punching bag out of me too. I don't appreciate that. Now, you've all heard him play his little recording. Here, listen up. Listen good. Well, Barry's attitude is a defiance mechanism. Yeah, he runs his mouth to save face. I'm going to ask you guys a question that are presently on my show right now. He played a tape, and he keeps on saying that I called his girlfriend a whore or a prostitute. Did anybody on here hear me, those words, call his girlfriend a whore or a prostitute? Did I mention a name? Now, I want you to think carefully. I don't want you to support me on this at all. I don't want you to support me. I want you to think honestly. He played that and say, I got you. You called my girlfriend a whore or a prostitute and used her name. Huh? Oh, okay. And speak your mind on this. Have you ever heard it? She made a complaint against me, and in the complaint, and I could talk about this. Fuck this shit. I could talk about this. Claims that, and she did a video, which you've seen, that I produced, where she's saying that I don't appreciate being called a whore or a prostitute. Well, when did that happen? I've seen what her boyfriend played on there. And there was nowhere where I was calling her a whore and using those words or a prostitute, nor did I even use her name. It is going on, yes. Merciful said you never called this girlfriend any of those words or used her name. That's correct. But when you're desperate, well, let's say that he certainly does, because he's behind all this. You know, there's certain measures you could take to argue something if you believe somebody really said something bad about you, and there's things you could do about it. It's called what they say in level, okay? You don't come out because you want to support your boyfriend and try to put a complaint against somebody to get them deported. Someone who does that is not your average Christian Filipino out here at all. Do not adhere to any moral values. So in other words, let's get even. Let's try to get him thrown out of the country. This way my boyfriend could have some satisfaction, or she could have some satisfaction because she supports her boyfriend. That's not right. Let's see. I've heard him say you implied it, but that's bullshit too. It shows that he admits you never used the words or the name, just implied it. Yeah. Amazanine says he then convinced her that you in fact did call her that, but no, the word whore was never used by you, nor the word prostitute. I've never, ever called her those names. But she came on a video which was not good, and I've got the copy, and it's not going anywhere, where she came on and said, I don't appreciate you calling me a whore and a prostitute. Well, she's going to have to back up that statement if this thing goes anywhere to court or anything like that. She's going to have to back that up big time. Because if she's perjuring herself, there should be more shit against her. That's a reality. Palaboy says, no, he is lying again. Yeah. You know, you can say something over and over and then believe it at some point, right? Just like a song that gets in my head. You know, like that irritating song on the last video I put. I don't know what that music was, but I hated it. It was whatever the fuck it was. Irritating, but it gets in my head. I'm thinking, God, I don't want to hear that again. I wouldn't even go back and review what I put up there. Did Joe? Maybe they are using AI software to manipulate your voice. I don't put anything past people nowadays. Well, they've done that with me. You kidding? And he is giving her money. Of course he is. She goes to Gaisano's to buy food for him sometimes. He doesn't order everything from Panda Express. She'll go to the store and she'll bring certain goodies for him. You know, cigarettes and shit like that. Food substances. Remember the shopping cart one time? And she happened to have a tube or a container of Menin underarm deodorant for men. Who's she buying that for? Of course she buys. So he could turn my story into anything he wants, but it doesn't mean it's the truth. It doesn't mean I ever said those words. At all. Right, giving her money, exactly. And he's still making that claim about his Social Security that he's not receiving it. How much lies can all you people tolerate from this guy? Of course, there's certain things he needs. He's sweating his ass off in that cell, 105 Fahrenheit, probably, to get some kind of underarm perspiration or deodorant or something, or especially a deodorant in that situation where there's no showers. I would hope so. Merciful says he gives her money for sure, only reason she sticks around. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. That's an easy comment for me to get in trouble. And I'm a little wiser than that these days, I am. But I've always said it was a utilitarian relationship, so I've said that already. And I'm not going to change my words on that. I personally believe, in my opinion, it's a utilitarian relationship. Mazda 9 says a conjugal visit is designed period in which a prison inmate is allowed to be in private with a visitor. The visit allows extended intimate contact, including sexual relations between a prisoner. Well, he claims that he hasn't had sex in how long, that they don't do that stuff. Yeah, right, we believe that. That's why he has curtains on his jail cell. It's for that kind of privacy. That's why he has the curtains. Another lie. The lies just keep on rolling along. Yeah, right. A very sexually active man, like he tries to be, is going to go for 17 months without taking advantage of a conjugal visit. Do you buy that? Did Joe says, what kicked off all of this latest feud flare? What kicked up? I thought he shut up and you went on to vlog. No, he hasn't shut up, and that's the problem. And he's in his jail cell. He says, I got to use my phone. Nobody's taking my phone away from me. Well, it's not set in stone that he's going to keep that phone, because I got to do my orders and stuff. Okay, I'll buy that. Call his lawyer, whatever. Contact with family if they even really contact him. That's another story, but his girlfriend, stuff like that. But they did not say that he can use the phone for social media and to continue to harass, antagonize, insult, and defame me. After all, what's his charges? It's called cybercrime. But he has the cockiness to keep on doing these shows because he can't help himself. He's got to get it out. He's got to get it out. He doesn't do a show about, I don't know, something decent. Well, he's not supposed to be on the phone with social media at all. Let's just start there. Did Joe says so? He just started running his mouth off out of nowhere. Big dumb. You gotta learn. Multiple personality. Here he goes. He's hurting for cash, sympathy, donations. It's all about this, about him. That's all he's about. Well, he'll try to get your sympathy all the time. He's done this ever since he's ever been on YouTube. I ain't got no food. I'm starving. Well, you know, I saw him in the courtroom. And he don't look like he's starving to me. In fact, the total opposite. He's got a pretty good-sized belly on him. I've never seen him with that much belly weight on there. Oh, absolutely. I was up close to him. Right behind him. I just had to come back in the door. Why didn't he strike me then? His outburst in the courtroom, of course that's going to be addressed. Yeah, easy money, right. He's not, let me explain something here. He's not hurting for cash. Let's get this straight. He's been saving his money for when the day comes that he can go back to America and gets deported. He's even telling his girlfriend all this time, because he loves her so much, my beautiful, gorgeous girlfriend. He's lying to his beautiful, gorgeous fiancée, as he likes to say. And why he has to repeatedly say that, I don't understand. Is he trying to convince himself? I don't have any idea. Just an opinion, that's all. And he's making her think that he got cut off. But my audience has to understand, this is not the first time he has done this and said that he got his Social Security crap cut off. This is not, repeat, not the first time. It all flared up because after channel's monetization. Yes, because drama brings people to the channel. That's why. And the expectation of donations. Did Joe says, of course he is. That's why he hasn't cracked over stress. The court knows this too, so they're just holding him. He's going to have to pay to get out. It's that simple. Well, as Ricky says, you pay one way or the other. Even I have to pay. Nothing's free in this life, that's for damn sure. Nothing. After a while, everything is going to catch up with him. You ain't keeping me in this cell. Well, I'm not keeping him in his cell. I beg to differ. Immigration is, and the fact that he has actually a legal case against him, a criminal case, that's what's keeping him in the cell. I did not order the courts and say, hey, he's got to stay in that jail cell. In fact, I encouraged them to put him in a real fucking prison. I don't want him to stay in that jail cell, but he's happy as a clam being in that jail cell. He's laughing about it. I ain't going anywhere. But then again, he also said, I never was wanted by immigration for overstay. And then again, he never, you always hear him saying that nobody's going to catch him, nobody cares. I'm not going to jail for my immigration. That you're never going to be able to do a case on me about the cybercrime issues. But where is he now? Where is he now? Where is he now? Okay. Mazda 9. And to pay his plan is to go back. But to say his plan is to go back to the United States where he has money, right? Was it the Tamashiro's gold, Yamashoto's gold, put away in a cave somewhere, back to the U.S. where he has money that only he has access to, and mail the money back to pay any fines or penalties. Yeah. Mazda 9 says he's a genius. Did Joe says LOL. Exactly. Is Popeye simulcasting my broadcast here? He's got a lot of work on his hands too, because I think he's doing a show today or tomorrow. Let's all say hello to Bob, to Robert. Hi, Bob. You have your Geritol today. How's the bingo parlor, by the way? Do you actually win? I don't know. I guess you got to do something when you're immobile. And we're not making fun of people that are immobile. I certainly don't want to be immobile and have to depend on a mobility scooter, God forbid. No, that's not something that I would look forward to, and I hope that never happens for one reason or another. I'd be a praying man, believe me, if I knew something like that was going to Sucks, don't it? Sometimes life sucks. Sometimes unexpected things happen, but that's, kind of like part of life. The whole idea is that expect the unexpected. Shitload of ants.
Your
more
berries.
Ants. Boy, the one thing we're never getting rid of around here, no matter what we try, I can sit on the table and have these little ants crawl on my arms sometimes. This just gets really old. Just like all this crap is getting old. Sweep them out the door for now. I think one of the most humorous things I've seen, well, amongst many, if you've seen that last video, when he's trying to make a point and show how tough he is, he puts his hat on backwards to try to show, look what a tough guy I am. Oh, please, please, please. Oh, man, you know, there's a lot I could say, but I just unfortunately can't say it on here. There's a whole lot I could say, but I'm restraining for legal purposes, you know. I could talk about his mentality. I could talk about a lot of things on here. But these things are better left in court and, you know, kind of go from there. Excuse me, I'm kind of multitasking at the particular moment. Well, I'm sweeping some shit off the floor here. Pardon me. And I'll get to read the comments in a second. Oi. Okay, enough of that. All right, let me go in my room where I can be a little more comfortable. Finished my special brew. Okay, let's get back to business here. Okay, let me get to the comments here. Multiple personality corner came on and said Popeye is kind of cute. I think it's a mummy sort of cute. I'm not even gay. Well, thanks for sharing that. Mr. Merciful says Popeye is frail looking, skinny guy. He looks like he's in his 80s, but is actually much younger. He's also missing teeth. Well, I haven't seen any recent photos. Mazda9 says at Palaboy, I tried accessing Discord. Apparently, I'm not bright enough to figure it out. No, I don't go on Discord. But I'm sure there's probably so much going on Discord about just about everything, really. But they're too afraid to come on YouTube to discuss these things, and they'll go to Discord. No, I haven't seen any modern day pictures of him, but just look at some of his older pictures that were displayed and just multiply it like, 40 years later. I don't think he's doing that good, because if he has to, well, Nico slipped is what happened, if you remember that, and said that Popeye was on a mobility scooter. It came out, but see, Popeye's perfect. Nothing wrong with him. He'll knock somebody. He'll knock somebody's health. He'll knock somebody well, he doesn't need a reason to mock anybody or defame or criticize somebody. But if you really knew the truth about how he was living, it's not even his house. He inherited that house from his mother. And he's in a mobility scooter. And apparently he has so much time on his hands in order for him to make all these skits. That takes a long time. I don't know if you realize that. Editing takes a long time. And the fact that he's got his finger on a pulse of everything that goes on YouTube, he doesn't miss a trick. He's there when somebody's show is on to either simulcast my show or to record it or use it for skits and all that stuff. The man has a lot of time on his hands. And he has the gonyoles, if he has any at all, to talk about other people and their life or lifestyle. Oh, Merciful says it wasn't a recent photo. He didn't realize. I heard something about that. Did I see that? He didn't realize he was on cam for about a split second, and a troll said, I think you're right on that. It was from about 2 or 3 years ago. And he has Coke bottle glasses too, really. Wow. Merciful says Popeye's scooter has a seat, 3 wheels, and a basket on the handle. It has probably about 10 American flags on there, right? Or something to do with the Navy. Probably has like a little sound machine that plays these nautical, Navy songs. We're shoving right off again, shoving right off again, shoving right off again someday. Whatever, I don't know. Well, think of some nautical song. Pretty sick, isn't it? Pretty sick. We got a lot of sick people on here, man. Please don't let me to go through the list. How about the guy, you know who it is, Sperm Nips? Talk about psychology on YouTube here. It's scary, let me tell you. Multiple says, Popeye gets excited once a week when Publix has a sale. Why are you on my show talking about drugs? You gotta go. Got some idiots on here. I don't tolerate that kind of shit about drugs. So why don't we just kind of get to the meat and bones of what we're talking about this morning? Threats. I don't like them. I will address them. And that's for sure. So for people wondering whether or not there's going to be a second case on him, it's planned. I thought about it. And I can't let it go. Because, see, let me explain something initially and why so. And let me explain that much. I could say this. Initially, when we filed the case against him, it was under my impression that we were going to use also the threats. There is actually some, I could say that there is some reference to the threats in the material, but it's not emphasized. So basically, I have to do a separate case in order to address the threats, in which I will. If things don't happen the way I'd like to happen, all I got to do is say the word. Come up with a little more cash to write it up, send it to the prosecutor, the fiscal, get it approved, and voila, there'll be another case. I gave it a lot of thought. There was one time I was not going to do that, but then with his continuation of coming on YouTube while he has 5 charges against him and doing live shows and doing the same shit over and over again and attacking me in every way you could think of, I said, God, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And then the fact that he's trying to get his girlfriend to get me deported, I mean, that didn't help. And if I was deported somewhere, it doesn't mean I can't continue a case. Case is not going to stop. It's Republic Philippines against him. And my lawyer, who'll still be retained, can still, what the hell? I got a bit on my foot. Can still do the case, in case you were wondering. What the hell? I got bit by a mosquito out there. Damn. I was looking at my neighbor's foot. Let me on a different note here, let me tell you something here. I always wear socks with my shoes. I don't wear slippers, except in the house occasionally. There's so much bacteria and crap around the Philippines that you'd be stupid not to wear socks or shoes. My neighbor, I went to give him an invite yesterday, and I seen his foot. I said, what the hell? It's like a Fazio thing. And one of his toes was so inflamed and infected and had a black part on it. Then he going up his foot was all red and swollen. I said, what the hell happened to you? What the hell happened? He said, I don't know, about 10 days ago, whatever happened. I don't think he even knows, but I guess he's on antibiotics. I said, man, make sure you take them. You don't want to get sepsis. Same thing that happened to Fazio. So, believe me, if you're going to spend time out here, you want to live out here, by all means, wear sneakers, whatever. And if you have to wear sandals, don't worry. You can wear socks with it. Nobody's going to laugh at you, but I don't wear sandals with socks. In fact, I never did that in Hawaii. Occasionally, I would wear leather sandals that has the straps in the back and to hold my feet in there, because I could never walk comfortably in flip-flops because I trip, or they wouldn't last long, or it would be uncomfortable between my toes. I would get an irritation. Okay, enough about that. Publix is a grocery store. Okay. Merciful says Popeye's ex-wife left him, and he said, sold everything that she died. Well, we all know she didn't. She's running a successful store selling different foods and stuff. Yeah. Mazda says, hey, is there any advantage to waiting to file the additional cases? If he's allowed out after this current case finalized, he may very well have time to flee the country. Um, well, let's put it this way. Between the time, let's say that he to go to exercise a summary deportation, or the judge turns around and says, I'm just going to send you home. Okay. Um, as long as he's in the country and a case, well, put it this way, something is filed with the fiscal and is approved to go to court, he can't go anywhere, despite a summary. I mean, it's the same thing that's going on right now. It's the same thing. He's still in incarceration for immigration because there's a case on him. So if there's another case on him, he's not going anywhere. Not anywhere soon. He has to get over the first case. God knows how long that'll take. Then he'll have to address the next case, and this could go on for years. And I'm not doing this to so-called like get even type shit that he's doing with his girlfriend. It's not a get even thing. It's something that I am addressing that has personally affected me and mine. Not a revenge situation like he's doing. Not at all. It's my right. By filing now, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not telling you anything that I've currently done or will do. I mean, I'm telling you what I do plan to do, yes. But I'm kind of feeling things out a little bit. And we'll see what happens at the next court hearing. In the conclusion of that court hearing, I will address, because I usually ride home with him, my lawyer, I will address the situation while we're in the car. I mean, I will see what happens on that court date. And I'll make a decision right then and there. No, he can't avoid. I got every right to file another case on him. If it's valid. And, well, this is valid. You see, when you file a case, you gotta stick to the menu, shall I say, with lack of better words. The whole protocol of the case, what is it about? Is it about libelous statements made, or is it about threats? You can't always do both. You could address some of that, which has been addressed, but your concentration is one thing or the other. But then you are afforded the opportunity to make another case out of another issue that you felt should have been probably included in the first case. And some of it is in there. There is, but not on the concentration. Okay, so let's see. Mazda 9 says, getting even? No. Getting justice for yourself and Gilda, absolutely. Nobody realizes, or maybe you do, how serious I take this matter. And he makes a joke out of it. Oh, I hurt your feelings. I called you a name. Don't you just love hearing that? It's just amazing. He doesn't even realize the gravity of what he labeled me, the consequences from that. He doesn't realize how that has affected me and Gilda. People that maybe don't even know me could be dangerous and thinking, oh, really, that guy's a child molester? There's some crazy-ass people out there. He endangered me and my family is what he did. You think I was going to let that go? No way, Jose. Oh, yeah, Mr. Merciful. Him reaching out to my family seriously crosses the line. Yes. Yeah, believe me, that's going to be addressed even on this one. Yeah. It affects everyone in my household. It does. Because her children, the ones that live here and the ones that come over, they're familiar with this whole thing. They hear me talking about it. They know exactly. Her daughter has made copies of on memory cards for me, even just yesterday. They hear him because they're recording him on the memory cards, certain things that we could use as backup evidence and or even current. They know exactly what's going on. I don't hide it from them. I want them to be aware. I want them to be aware. Then his lies that he never tried to contact her children, I should get them as on a witness stand, if allowable. They could say themselves. Of course he tried to contact them. And then you remember on his show, he was encouraging everybody to contact Gilda's family. Yeah, he said that. We've got it. We've got it recorded. To contact her family. And he lied to you people. I never tried to contact her family or anybody. I would never do that. No, you would never do a lot of other things too, would you? But you did. So like I said, I take this shit quite seriously. Times, the umpteenth power. Mathematically, believe me, I do. I've never taken to anybody's threats in my entire life. I've always approached a situation of such one way or the other. He should be glad that I am a law-abiding person out here. Because really, me or anybody else in a situation like this could have took measures differently instead of in the courts. I'm not stupid enough to go that route and ruin everything I have. I will not do that. Unless I was defending myself, well, that's a whole different animal. Busco says, he's trying to say you're an overstayer. I know. And I'm an overstayer. Oh, maybe wishful thinking. Well, his lawyer would know that. If not, he better get a different lawyer. Whether I'm an overstayer. It's just to come out with these lame statements. Trying to hurt my feelings. You caught that? Yeah. You caught that? Yeah. This is one messed up dude, that's all I could say. He's just really one messed up dude. In every way. Then he kept on doing his thing. I got a little dick, erectile dysfunction, blah, blah, blah. That's all cyber libel. But he's too stupid enough to understand that he's got to contain his rage and anger. Because every time he gets worked up, you could count, like on a clock, you could count him coming on when he's raged up and opening his mouth and saying some of the stupidest, illegal shit that got him into the trouble. Famous line, that got him into the trouble in the first place. Mr. Merciful said, and I'm only reading the comments, he has mental health issues, probably has for a long time. No comment on that. Steve Busco says only he would be stupid enough to be an overstayer and go on YouTube. Yeah, that's another thing too. Trying to hide from immigration, but he did social media shows. Yeah. Well, as I said, I could say something about his intellect or lack of, but for legal purposes, I'll refrain from that. I'll just refrain from that. I would have a lot to say, but I'll refrain. See, I'm watching myself here today, as I've been. Let's just say that, in my opinion, he's not a very nice person. And I'm aware of his history. He says I'm not, but I certainly am. I wouldn't want to be the lawyer to defend him. The truth is, if his lawyer knew even one fraction of the things that he did, I don't know if this guy would even represent him, to be honest with you. But you see, you get paid for being a lawyer, and they'll defend even the biggest criminals in the world because they get a paycheck from it. They don't have to believe their client. There's no law that says that a lawyer has to believe their client. Some lawyers have some, okay, here we go, the moral turpitude, whatever, will not, by choice, represent anyone that is so foul, who is so either dangerous or obstructive or undesirable or a liar. There are some lawyers that actually have a conscience, but it's the peso that gets them to defend somebody. It's the peso. Discord trolls are mocking him. Merciful says, he made me move my hand. Made me move your hand? Oh. I get you, what he said, yeah. How about the Geneva Convention? Do you guys remember that one? The laws of the Geneva Convention has nothing to do. He doesn't even know what the Geneva Convention is. Now, that was a funny thing that was actually laughed about with Aloe and his crew. Geneva Convention. How about the Keystone Cops, too? Maybe they'll get involved. Why did he need, Steve Butso says, why did he need to carry a knife? He says he has a lot of enemies, obviously, from borrowing money. Well, he once said himself that I can't defend myself. I need a weapon because I know that. Yeah, he always carries a knife. Merciful says, you said that on your last show. That's pretty gangster. Yeah. Yeah, he made a lot of enemies. Holy shit. I don't even know why he'd even want to stay in the Philippines. It's just for his girlfriend, but is it worth it to have to be on the run and look over your shoulder all the time? I don't think so. Of course, that's my opinion. I do know somebody that does look over his shoulder. I won't get into that. Because he turned in some evidence about something that wasn't cool. But at the time, I guess he felt he was doing something right, and I guess I can't wrong him for that in regards to what the situation was. But yeah, shit like that happens. It's case by case what you think is righteous to do, or maybe not a righteous thing to do, but it's something you have to think about before you file charges on anybody or become witness. Merciful says he used to constantly look over his shoulder every time. Yeah, when he was staying at Bergie, what's her name? Her place. Yeah, I remember him sitting down and he'd always be looking toward the gate, toward the road. Extremely paranoid. Why? If he didn't do anything, why is he so paranoid? Perennium Spectre says, I missed the days when he was roommates with Jay. Yeah, that was a lot of action days, wasn't that? Steve Butso says to Mr. Merciful, exactly. He should have stuck to flipping waffles at the Waffle House. Yeah, and he wouldn't be in all this trouble now. But like I said, man, I don't know where this is all going to, except that I pretty much decided that if certain things don't happen or do happen, and I'm not going to tell you what I mean on either side of the scale on that, I will file another case. I will file another case. I'm not going to go broke by doing so. I have a certain amount of money put away for my lawyer for situations like this. Like I said, I'm not particularly going to run out of money anytime soon. I'm willing to pay a lawyer who can represent me in a situation that I feel that needs to be addressed. I'm a highly principled person. I mean, I've always been that way. It's not anything new, and it didn't happen just during YouTube. I mean, I've always been highly principled. You know, don't talk about my mother and father that are deceased and make fun of it, or my brother that died, or anything like that. To leave my family totally out of it. Totally out of it. You got a beef, you take it up with me. And even so, watch what you say. Things don't always work out the way you want. I can't say everything in my life worked out the way I wanted to, but I think the majority of anything that I've encountered in my life did work my way. But it took a little bit of effort. Other times it was easy, but I think most of the time it does take effort to get something accomplished. Whether you're building a house on your own, it's not going to be done overnight. It takes time, it takes talent, it takes knowledge, diligence, and determination to build that house. Uh, yeah, did you see how he's being so friendly to the dogs that are showing up where he's staying? He's made it very clear he hates dogs. He threatened to throw hot water on dogs. You remember that? Where he throw rocks at them? But he's so lonely that when a dog comes, oh, poochie, poochie, oh my God, I want to puke. I, man, I would just love to say a few things on here, but I just really can't. To really express myself, how I feel about this guy. But the only way I could do that is legally, and that's exactly what I'm doing. In his own words, I mean, I despise the guy. I absolutely despise him. And so does my girlfriend. We just really despise this man, and for very good reasons. Yeah, dogs are a good judge of character. That's why they hate him. Well, get to know him, but they don't know him any better. They don't know that he wants to throw hot water on dogs, as he stated when he lived with Fergie, and throwing rocks at dogs. Yeah, he's an animal. He loves dogs, yeah. I don't think the man, in my own opinion, is capable of love. I just don't think he's capable of real love, nor do I think he even knows what fucking love is if it bit him on his nose. Nor can he actually give real love without there being something tied to it. Sanctions or expectations or whatever. It's easy to say to somebody, I love you. The difference is you have to mean it. It's not for show. Or even being descriptive. I don't have to say every single time, like he's trying to convince his audience or himself, I don't know which, maybe both. My lovely, gorgeous fiance. He kisses hands, say my girlfriend. And if she is lovely and gorgeous, okay, fine. But you don't have to try to convince us. We all have our own opinions, whether we think she's lovely and gorgeous or we don't think she's lovely and gorgeous. He's trying to emphasize, for some reason, go figure. All he has to say is my girlfriend. But it's either he's trying to convince himself, or more so, what I think, and this again my opinion, he's just trying to butter her up. And she's sucking it. Well, not literally, figuratively sucking his words. Yeah. Keep on calling my lovely, gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful fiance. Oh, I love her so much. Yes, he was crying in the courtroom when she called him. I'm at the courthouse. Oh, you don't know I love you so much. It's okay. Show emotion. That's fine. If you mean it. But he was trying to get sympathy from his girlfriend is what he was trying to do. You understand something? He's been playing her up the whole time, man. Okay? He's been playing her up. Because he needs her. He needs her. She could run errands for him, even go all the way to Manila for him. She could turn in papers for him. She could bring him food and items that he needs. Utilitarian. You think I'm stupid? I don't see through this? I certainly do. Apparently, she don't. She don't. He's trying to convince her, and Palaboy says, he says that to manipulate her, and Mazda 9 says, he most likely, her first in every, I don't know what you remember. This is why she loves him and will do anything for him. Let me tell you something. You tell a bunch of flowery words to a Filipina chick, and they just melt on that. It's like melting cheese on a grilled cheese sandwich. Melts into the bread. Say the right words to most Filipinas, and they're just, they get stuck on stupid sometimes, and believe all this shit. See, he needs her. I guarantee you, and again, opinion, when he gets shipped off, or, pardon me, if he gets shipped off, or if he gets a sentence in jail, it's over. Well, let's concentrate on him being deported, like on that respect. The only reason I love you, my gorgeous, beautiful thing. Well, when he's back in mainland America, you really think he's going to push for her to try to come to America? Hell no. Look, I know him to be this as a fact. And I will say this, and I'm going to say this. Now, by the way, I just want to make a little anecdote here. I just want to make a little, side note. I'm not saying here nor there what I think his girlfriend looks like. I'm not going there. Not going there at all. But what I say, and safe to say, as with any other woman he's been with, not just her, if he found a gorgeous model-looking Filipina, not to say that his girlfriend is ugly. I'm not saying. I want to point this out. I'm not making any opinion at all on that. I'm not going there. But I was saying, let's say if he found another woman that was just drop dead gorgeous, let's just say more so than the ultra gorgeousness of his present girlfriend, okay? Trust me, he'd leave her in a New York minute. Watch what happens to her when she doesn't need her anymore. Long-term incarnation should only be spent in Bicutan. This is me says he lived in a friend's garage before he went to the Philippines, and he thinks he can bring her back to the States. He's so delusional. Well, I don't like to quote Don C, but Don C made a comment on his channel that there's no way he's going to be able to marry his girlfriend in America. And then there's a certain process. Either way, it could take about 2 years to even remotely achieve that, but it's all based on a lot of different factors, and it just won't come together. Okay. So you get my point? See, as would happen with Sheila, this is the true thing. Now, I don't think Sheila was a bad-looking chick, but opportunity exists with him. When, you remember I told you the story how somebody contacted him on Tinder, on Facebook, and a picture of an absolutely gorgeous, drop-dead gorgeous Filipina was used, okay? And this person, my understanding, as I told the story, contacted him while he was in a relationship with Sheila. And I told you the story about that, and I should have to go way into it. Believe me, he was willing to drop Sheila on a peso to be, if this woman had took to him and it was real, then he would have dropped Sheila like a hot potato. There's no doubt in my mind. It has to do with his self-worth. That if he could get a really gorgeous chick, oh man, he's on top of the heap, man. He's on top of the heap. Top of the world, baby. Top of the world. It's a shallow thing. Doesn't matter what maybe the woman might be like, but if she's really good looking and got a hot bod, man, I could show her off and say, look what kind of a man I am. I don't do that kind of shit. Mercer said that he mooched money from her. That's pathetic. All right, I'm just reading statements on here, folks. Doesn't mean I'm backing him up. I'm reading statements on here. He is like a caged bobcat. His mind is racing when Ricky don't make him brisket and ribs anymore. This is me, says, and he called Dimples a social climber. That's all Bummer does is to go on the better things. Does not matter who he hurts. Yeah. Well, you guys seem to back me up on all these statements on here, but how come you never backed me up when I needed you? No, see, I don't come on my show to solicit for donations for my legal fees. I'm paying it all on my own. But he does that. But it's okay for him to do that, yeah. I'm not pushing this. Not at all. Got a Gcash out there. I think it's still on there, but I haven't seen anyone donating to my Gcash for the cause. But maybe because I really haven't been advertising for it. Like, hey, you're not to send some money to me. It's right there. Right there. I could turn around and say, if you really want to support the cause, you can definitely donate to my Gcash. But unlike him, I don't push this shit. I would never expect to get rich on Gcash. It's nice to be able to defray some of the costs. Sure. Let's see. I think he's more into getting a high body count, low-hanging fruit is his MO. Well, I told you about the woman that he brought over to Santa Fe, and she wasn't exactly that very desirable looking, and the whole circumstance behind that, and he was using her, and it was terrible, and by her own mouth. And you heard what Sheila had to say on that videotape and what he was doing with her. Hey, I could say this because it's public knowledge. She said it herself. She got tired of him using her as a goddamn ATM machine to start. He might end up blacklisted for life. He claims that, no, he's full of shit. He ain't coming back here once he gets supported. I don't know what he's telling his lovely, beautiful, gorgeous fiance, but he's buttering her up. He's buttering her up like a buttercup. Like a buttercup! Oh, shit. Hold on. I don't want to be on here too much longer. I ate, but I'm still hungry for something else. Excuse me, if I don't get my proteins in me. Yes, I am going for my procedure. Finally, they fixed the equipment. My God, Magnum. Doesn't mean it's the end of it. Just get rid of those fucking Flintstones. Anyway, at least I give my people a forum to speak their mind on here. And the only way I'm getting rid of anybody on it, like the guy who came on here talking about drugs, I got rid of him right away, didn't I? I did not hesitate. Let me see, I don't really want to take this shit. Okay, I guess I have to. Certain medicines I'm supposed to take, but it's still very debatable. Potassium citrate could help break up stones, because you can get potassium citrate from things like lemon juice and stuff, which I'm always drinking now. Potassium citrate can have effects on your stomach and different shit. So, yeah, it's not cool. It's not cool. I mean, doctors will tell you to take this and that, but they won't tell you the side effects of it until it actually happens to you and you complain to them and say, guess what, doc? This is causing whatever, either stomach pain, flatulence, or dizziness or something. All medicines are different, reactive to different people in different ways. But many doctors don't kind of measure that shit in. Yeah, just take this. Take it, you son of a bitch. Take it, you son of a bitch. I'm the doctor. I'm the doctor of the house. You gotta take this motherfucking shit if I have to shove it in your mouth, motherfucker. No, man, I usually research everything I take. That's why I come up with all this gloriful information, because something as simple as having the ability to read, not to be illiterate, to be very literate. You gotta see the shit that I read. And it's not all medical shit. I learned a lot of things in my life based on my readings. I was never, ever a big book reader. Ever. But now that we got the internet and these stories and, all this valuable information that's the touch of your fingertips, yeah, I'm an avid reader. I really never thought I would be. Oh, Myra. Myra wasn't too bad. But didn't Jay screw her? Or who was it? It was MJ? Talk about uh, the ultimate fuck over to him is to have some lowlife like MJ or somebody get the sloppy seconds. Oh my God, I wouldn't touch, really, I wouldn't touch any woman that Mama has touched. Never. Yeah, I would never. Just to know somebody like him has been in there, I couldn't. Every woman has been with a man. You don't find many virgins these days, so when people make statements like, you're having sex with like, how many other 100 men or something that have been there before you, well, shit, but a woman's not gonna have sex with somebody, or after she breaks up, she's not gonna have sex with anybody else. That's not the way it works. Every woman of a certain age has been together with another man, and she has been entered by another man, unless she's holding herself, for marriage or something, and has a high religious belief that this ain't gonna happen until our wedding night. You don't see a lot of that. Not out here, you don't, anyway. Now, it's unfortunate, though. There are women out here having sex as low as 13 years old, and that's pretty pathetic. But I don't make the laws out here. They were allowing consensual sex at a very low age. It changed it up a little bit, I guess. No, you wouldn't get away with that in America. That's for damn sure. C. Butzo says it's Mazda 9. Yeah, it's pathetic. He tried to blame me. Meaning, he lies about anything. Yes. I have to slap myself on the hand. But I can't do that right now. For even doing another show, even addressing this, but the initial point of my show was to address something in detail that I did not emphasize on any of my shows the way I'm emphasizing it today. And it has to do about threats. I will unleash the hounds, my friends. I will unleash the hounds. Threat of deportation doesn't sit very well with me. So in other words, Let's try to destroy somebody's life for something he didn't do. We all know his story, and I don't want any argument on it, even from him. The fiscal would not have approved this thing for court if they didn't feel that there was evidence there to do so. Bottom line, don't have to discuss that any longer. But to accuse me of certain things I've never did, very heavy-duty shit. I'm livid about this. More than you know. Don't ever call me something that I'm not, and something so hideous and extreme that I'm going to sit there and say, he's just mad and he's saying something he shouldn't say. Well, I can see every now and then somebody getting mad and saying something they didn't mean to say out of their own anger. But no, sir. When you repeatedly do something like that, you just set a precedent, is what you did. You simply cannot do that and expect to get away from it. You just can't. And I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm just not. I'm just not. Settlement. Settlement, my lily white ass. Ain't gonna happen. So he's got to face that reality, that it's not gonna happen. Get out his best weapons with his attorney, do what he feels he needs to do, because I know I am. I'd hire a private investigator. Well, dude. You know, we found where he was staying when he was hiding from the immigration. That took a little bit of an investigation. I'm not stupid. I am far from being stupid. I want to emphasize that right now. Far from being stupid. Agents could not come over there unless they knew that's where he was going to be. Because their time to do this and to organize this had to be exact. No, they don't, they're not going to come all that way and have to travel a good distance and not get the results that they intended to get. That's not the way it works. Not at all. It was a well-planned attempt for the agents to find him and arrest him. And that, of course, took a lot of planning with these agents. And with my cooperation, my lawyer's cooperation. Wasn't easy. It was not easy. I have my attorney. Okay. What would be... Pala Boy says, what would he do if I took my guitar, roses, and serenade her to steal her from her? I don't know how to answer that. Let's just get this over with. Pardon me, I'm having a piece of toast, a little bit of cream cheese. It's a beginning to something, there's an end to something. How it all turns out, I think it's according to him, really. Not just me. He knows what he has to do. Whether he does it or not, that's up to him. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Oh, gosh, we got the brood coming in today. Yeah, we're going to have for tomorrow, actually. They're arriving today, but tomorrow we're going to have a lot of food here. And you invite my neighbor, always do. If his foot's okay. He's got a nasty looking toe and foot there, I don't know. Believe me, trust me when I tell you, wear proper shoe wear if you're going to be walking around the Philippines. You remember Fazio would probably started out with a small abrasion of some sort. Hey, I know this to be true because I have on my leg right now, and you can still see the scarring from it. I had from some kind of an abrasion down on my leg, below my shin, and I treated with antibiotic lotion, all that stuff, but it wasn't healing. I went to see the doctor. He said, "No, you got everything in there. E. coli, all this shit. No, we got to give you antibiotics for this sucker." And he did, and it worked. But I still, to this day, have a dark circle about the size of, I guess, a nickel. About the size of a nickel. It's dark, and it's kind of how it healed. But you see, so remnants of it is still there. You have to be gung-ho is the best thing I could say to you when you get an infection out here, cut or bruise. I mean, you have to be gung-ho. I don't know what my neighbor, while he waited, but it's like 10 days ago, something happened with his foot. I don't know, he either got bit by something or whatever, it turned infectious. And it looks like shit. Just got all my clinical stuff here. I'm trying to get health insurance. So now I finally got all the material I need for Pacific Cross, and I'm going to make investigation whether I want to go with them and see what they're going to charge me. But this has been going on for quite a while, and I couldn't provide her all the updated tests, ultrasound, but I just came back yesterday from getting an ultrasound. And here, both kidneys are normal in size and cortical echogenicity. There's good corticomedullary, I can't even pronounce that, differentiation in both the kidneys. No mass, no stone. Well, that's in the kidney, not in the urethra. Perineal spaces are clear. Urinary bladder is adequately distended and smooth borders. The wall is not thick, blah, blah, blah. Unremarkable sonogram, both kidneys and urinary bladder. That's a good report. That's a good report. I had a urinalysis done. There is a moderate amount of bacteria still left. He's probably going to get me on antibiotics again, especially after I do the procedure, because I think that's pretty normal. Remember, I hate antibiotics. It is something that you don't know, that in your kidney, sounds gross, but you got these bacteria. They're amazing bacteria. And they're protected by a calcium shell, like a fucking snail, shell, like a snail shell that hosts the snail, like a protective hard coating. It's citrates that infiltrate this and get rid of the calcium coating that's protecting this bacteria. It's amazing on a microscopic level. You wouldn't believe what goes on in your kidney. Okay? It's just amazing, actually. And they're protected. And the other thing is, some foods contain oxalates, which you don't want to take. But the simple rule is that you drink a shitload of water every single day. And I'm starting to really, really get into that. And I had to have a full bladder yesterday when I did my ultrasound. And, I felt full as it was. Okay, we'll have to hold off. Go outside, whatever, get another bottle of water, 500 milliliters. Okay, Pop that down. She said, we have to wait 30 minutes for that to get into your bladder because we got to have your bladder full to a certain point. I went beyond that, and after that 30 minutes, I went and took another 500 milliliter bottle of water, and it was all good. So there was enough water, fluid in the bladder to be able to do the ultrasound because they require you to have a full bladder. Anyway, everything looked proportionate. Kidneys, bladder, so forth was very proportionate in size and all that. That's good. She didn't see any stones, but the ultrasound does not show out really very well, except they didn't see anything in the kidney. There was a stone in the kidney, but not very big, and I might have kind of gotten rid of that with some of the lemon juice I drink and potassium citrate I was taking. But the one in the urethra, that puppy's still there. And that's what this whole procedure is all about. And as a result of that, I know he's going to have me on antibiotics again. God, I hate antibiotics. Did I ever say I hate antibiotics? It fucks you up for 6 months, really. Makes you more vulnerable to different things. Okay, what else is there left to say here? Did you see the counter Discord trolls made? I don't go to Discord. 2,825 days you remain undefeated. As I said, it's not a contest here. Mazanine says enclosed shoes always. Oh, absolutely. I deal with penile giganticism. I don't think you really would. I did a whole show on that. You don't want to have gigantism with that because you're not going to get laid. Trust me.